Hello, Internet, and welcome to Ship of the Week, a show where I take your suggestions and try to build them in under an hour. I'll take viewer ideas for ships, vehicles, or other machines, and when the timer starts, I have just 1 hour to design and build something that fits whatever specifications are set out for me. If I can't finish or the ship doesn't work as intended, it gets scuttled. Ships that do work will be published to the workshop for all to enjoy. Time to hop in and find out what we'll be doing this week in Ship of the Week. This week we're going to be building something suggested by Jennifer Stewart's, which is another mining ship, but this one specifically designed to fit within a 3x4 hangar door, I guess fit through. So what that essentially means is it's a mining ship in large grid with large grid drills, large grid blocks, kind of designed to do a similar thing as the shield miner, which was meant to kind of go in and dig straight through, dig its own path and get to ores. This, however, is going to be a super stripped down small version of that can fit in the sort of standard size hangar door that you can do in Space Engineers, which is 4 blocks in one direction, wide or tall depending, and 3 blocks in the other. That's essentially 6 hangar door blocks kind of closing a space in. So yeah, this should prove to be interesting. I have a fun idea for how I think I can make this work best. It's gonna be weird, so I guess let's dive on in and just really embrace the weirdness. Okay, 1 hour on the clock. Off we go. So, my idea for this, one of the main stipulations was it needed to be a fully functional survival ship. So, it needs to be able to keep a person alive with oxygen and power. I don't remember if it needs hydrogen. I don't know. I think I may use hydrogen anyway, just because it makes life a little easier. But the main thing we're going to need for this is going to be conveyor junctions. In fact, we can go ahead and get a couple things. This, because it has to be minimalist, this ship is probably not going to be using any decoration at all. It's just going to be raw function. I think I'll start at the front, and that'll kind of... This'll be the weird bit. So, let's use ourselves... Normally, I don't like building with just conveyor junctions, because they actually do have a sim speed performance hit for each little, basically each little port is constantly checking to see if it's next to another port, and that's how cargo networks get built. But I feel like I might here just because, I mean, it's not that big of a hit, and it's just going to make life easier, because this thing's complex. It's going to be kind of awkward, and if I have to rebuild parts of it, I just want to be able to slap stuff on. So you may be wondering why I've just put down 2 hinges, which is a good thing to wonder in a mining ship. You may also be wondering why I'm strapping drills to them. So my idea on this, unlike the last ship where I just had a big wall of drills and that's how it made the hole, this one's going to be a little different. I'm going to actually use these hinges and have them reversing up and down to sort of clear out a swath of space. And as that swath gets cleared, you can push in and dig into the side of an asteroid. I don't know if this will be any better than the other way or not, but it seems like a good way with very few drills to get a larger area cleared. And in theory, I can use it to clear the up-down area then roll 90 degrees and clear the side to side, and create a nice big hole that I can fly through. I don't know if that's useful or not, but this is how it's going to be. One of the requirements as well was to have it be, it needed, the person inside had to be able to live long term, so it has to have a piped cockpit. I think I'll go with the good old traditional. You could also use the industrial and put it underneath, but I don't know. This feels right for this. I think right behind it we will put, if I do tanks, right the way across here, we've got our oxygen, got our 2 hydrogens. If I can do this right, this whole ship will actually only be 2 blocks high by 3 wide. It'll be quite long and kind of unruly, but the 2x3 should mean that it can fit through a 3x4 gap with space to spare, which is good because if I'm trying to go right along something, yes, you can technically do it, but it's not going to be as efficient and not really useful. It's going to take you forever to dock and you risk damage. So, we've got this. Oh, actually, let's do... We'll do an O2H2 gen there. Oh, and I should, instead of using conveyors, I should be using cargo containers. We'll ignore these ones up front because I already built them, and the whole idea was I didn't want to have to rebuild. But we'll do a cargo container there and there. And then we'll do a nice spine of them. Maybe with... Ooh, actually. That'll make sense in a second. So, yeah, so we've got that. Maybe that second will be right now. So I can put a hydrogen thruster there. I can stick a thruster up here. Because this thing's going to be relatively light, and because hydrogen is pretty powerful, I should only need 1 thruster in each direction. So we'll do one there, 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 and there. So that should be functional. So actually, this is starting to make some modicum of sense. Got this big old cargo pack at the back here, as the O2H2 gen kind of embedded in it, along with the down thruster. There's a connector back here so the ship can connect and unload and refuel. Now I should just need probably 1 battery. I may stick it right there. And probably just 1 gyroscope as well. Yeah, that should work. Now, much like many other ships I've made on this, I need to stuff it full of ice because it needs ice. Yeah, that should be enough for maneuvering. This one we should be able to dock up and refuel. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. This might be a record time setter. If it's gonna be quick to build, we might as well do some detailing because that's who we are as people. I think it makes sense to have, well, maybe not that many spotlights, but some spotlights poking out the front. Ooh. These These don't mean anything, but they'll kind of continue the spherical look. I probably could replace these with conveyor tubes. Yeah, we've got time. Let's do it. So, knock that off and that off. Oh, and it'll still let me place them. Perfect. So I'll have like that and that. I need to real quick. Oh, I think I've selected the wrong bit. Maybe? Yeah, we'll just rebuild these. Okay, so we've got the two T-pieces there. I might cover up all of these with plate, because the plate shouldn't get in the way, but it'll kind of... Maybe I do some of this. I can cover up some of these conveyors so it's not as painfully obvious that it's a weird block of individual cargo containers. I mean, it's not too exciting, but this is kind of functionally what it's meant to be. Get some power back. Ooh. It moves around with gusto. I guess probably one thing, since we've got time, let's test and see how these work. So I probably want between 45 and 45. And if I set the velocity, yeah, it's pretty good. Interestingly, because drills are so heavy compared to the relative lightweight of the rest of this ship, I think it actually is kind of similar to the drop ship I just did in last week. The drills are kind of imparting force on the ship beyond what you'd almost want. I don't know if I can do much about that. Let's try. Just because I have an image for this. This may be far too fast, but... Oh, that's what we need. Some computer. I guess can go here and here. We need these. I guess we only need the one. We'll put one on the other side just, you know, to keep up with appearances. But what I need with these... So... Timer. Set up actions. I want this hinge to reverse. This hinge to reverse. And then I want it to start its own countdown. We'll make that like 3 seconds. There we go. So if I can just have it digging away. I got the timing almost right too with the drills. This thing is quite silly. I think I'm very slowly falling in love with this strange little waggly machine. I should have a control to stop this. Oh, and I kind of want... I need some way to stop the hinges at their correct position. Or like straight in and out, because it won't fit through like this. And it would be nice if we had some way to like toggle the limits on the hinges. I guess what I could do, let's make a hinge group. So it's not the most elegant solution, but I have these 3 through 6 on the hotbar will control the limits of the rotors. So, nope. That's not what I want to do. So I can kind of work them in like so. And because it's going in increments with how hinges work, I have... they kind of force themselves into it. So even though the velocities are still set, they sort of waggle themselves down into the correct position. So that was 20 minutes. And while technically I could be done right now, I think this is functional. I don't know if I'm pleased with that. I feel like there should be something I can do to make this thing actually more useful. Because while I think it'll work right now, in the very loose sense of it will make a hole, somehow. I'm wondering... is there some... Okay. I've done something. So, the original, right over here, still looks good. Lights and whatnot. New one doesn't have any lights. New one has a weird proboscis. I think, if I've kind of thought through this correctly, this could be a functional sort of deployable, not static miner. Basically, it's going to use this little foot to inchworm itself along while it makes a hole. And I think it'll work. No, actually, I've just had a realization. As this flips down, I need to adjust these so that they clear out the right amount of height for the little leg to continue, but it needs to still be able to touch the ground as it pushes forward. I'll have to do some experimenting, but first I'll show how this is meant to work. Do some slight setting up. So, we have the first hinge. We set that to a negative velocity. This sort of folds down. And if we do the same with this hinge, it'll fold out. And boom, the piston is right there along the bottom. So now, if I take and extend this piston, it might get caught on these panels, in which case we'll have to figure something out. It sort of bumps over them. and ends up right where that thruster is. Well, that needs to be fixed. But it can sort of push itself along. The idea is it does this while locked to the voxel. So you kind of drill yourself a little hole, lock down, and then as these trundle back and forth going up and down, it slowly pushes its way in. I guess this could work because when you're doing this, the thrusters would probably be off. Though I kind of want to find some way to have it not bump out on the plate quite as it does. Oh boy. Okay. Shear inertia tensor, still bad. Long piston proboscis, still good. So, oh, we're out of hydrogen again. Yep, I still have a port. That was intentionally left so that I could always access it to put more.
No
Shoot.
energy.
Ice in. More fuel in me. Oh no. Oh no, it's wiggly. Oh, this is this is getting more ridiculous by the minute. Okay. So, what we have now, I want that to trigger now. I need to set up that timer with the original hinges, which are these. We have a line of rainbow pistons. I've shared inertia tensor on all of them to try and help, but there's only so much we can do. If I hit reverse on all these... Aw! Look how far it goes. In practice, that's probably not very far at all. I guess I didn't even show what I did. I converted this to a small head, and then I actually put 2 pistons in the middle here, that I shouldn't have extended. Those should allow this leg, which starts from here and goes on, that should allow those, I can move the leg up and down as I need to the height of the floor. So it has sort of variability, and I can define it to specifically the area I'm drilling, which means I don't have to worry about setting it up automatically. What pistons are these? This will be leg height 1. That should be a capital H. Confirm. And then this should be leg height 2. This will be leg extension. I want the velocity of these to be like 0.01, real slowly. These I'll probably just manually adjust. Landing gear is important. Timer blocks. Okay. Set up these to do the reverse again. Have this start itself. Have like a 3-second timer. When I start that, nothing happens because I need that. But it'll start digging. So the benefit of locking to the ground is it might do something for this sort of side to side we do. If let's set our pistons to come back very slowly. Very slowly. There we go. So, I'll fold that down. Let it sort of jaggle its way up there. And we can adjust the height to be at the floor of whatever tunnel we've drilled. And then on go the pistons. I do need some way to stop them, though. Which is that. Oh boy, this thing is going to be a janky. The toolbars aren't very well set up, but we'll have our thrusters. We'll have those set to be able to toggle them on and off. So when we want to stow ourselves, we do this. No, we don't. We do that. We do this a bit. Where are you going? Well, that's not good. Uh, hmm. Okay. So to stow it, we simply move them, you know, close to level. We can always adjust this and adjust the kind of cutout swath angle on the fly. We have that power. Make sure it's stopped. Then raise the proboscis. Like some horrific fishing rod. Okay. Okay. We need some more fuel because it's out again. And it's slowly drifting. I think last but not least, paint. What would be... I say it even though I've already hovered to it because I know what this needs to look like. Yeah, we'll go with that. Oh god. It's much pinker than it looked on here. It's a little better, but I think... really knock that saturation back. Actually, no. This should be... different. And thus, the mole miner is ready for action. I don't even know. In my head, I was like, yeah, it's like a little mole waggling its arms. I didn't anticipate it propelling itself with its tongue, but, you know, maybe that's how moles do. I've never met a mole. God. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's a nightmare. Look how much it waggles. I'm gonna do damage to it. Oh, and it's out of fuel again. Oh, this is... The worst part is this is going to work flawlessly. I'll have absolutely no issues. And we'll just have to live with the knowledge that this is optimum Space Engineer's design. Okay, well, you know what? There's only so much damage I can do to reality. Stop the clock, 1350 on it. Oh boy. Oh, a little conveyor board on the hinge even looks like a mouth. Well, I'm gonna go and stick this thing onto Moe's so it gets fuel in it, because I think that's going to be important, and then I guess we go and eat an asteroid? Alright, back in a minute. I think the best part is it's nearly uncontrollable in flight because of all the jiggling, but it doesn't need to be because that's what the tongue foot is for. Sure, connected, quote unquote. Okay. Thanks. Stockpile. Uh-oh. Ah. You know what I did incorrectly? Okay. Well, that's interesting. So, one of the things I changed is off camera, I turned this from a conveyor junction into just a right angle bit to just pipe the cockpit. Forgetting that this is where the hydrogen is connected. So, technically speaking, if we were really strict about it, this failed from the get-go because I didn't build it in a way that it can get fuel. Literally the thrust coming off of it, it's getting thrust solely by processing ice in real time. That's the only fuel it has. So that's not correct. Additionally, it means that the cargo or the ore coming in can't get to the cargo network. So strictly speaking, that's not good. But I'm just, you know, there's a bit of fudge factor. I'm normally smarter than this, and frankly, I feel like I don't need to give this... I have to take it all the way. It's gotta... It has a date with destiny that can't be avoided. So, just... Oh, are you gonna... No. Don't be cruel. Oh, I hate that it... I think it's because these are here. I'm gonna have to... Okay. I betcha. Oh no, it's because it's colliding with that. Right. Well. This will be quick fix. Add small head. Weld small head. Tank should be filling at least. Now if I take you... There we go. Like nothing ever went horrible. Except it's upside down. Da-da-da-da-da. Nothing is going wrong today. I'm not doing what I'm doing to this tongue. Why is it at a... Oh, because this hinge isn't set up. Okay. Does it have hydrogen in it now? Yes. How long that will last, only God knows. There are some asteroids over there. So for the sake of the, I guess the first test, before we get to any of that, my god goodness, with all the rest of the absurdity, I almost forgot the base function of this. It needs to fit within a very pink set of doors. So maybe I'll just build this right off of Moe's. A 4x3 hangar. That is how it would exist. Cover over the top so there's no chance of cheating. If I can navigate this creature through that gate, that is success on that part of the mission. Why are... Oh, right, because the tanks are on stockpile. That's not. Fly, you fool. Okay. Tongue is wiggling. I think it's only fair we have to do this in first person as well. It's getting a taste for it. It's feeling out the area ahead. This makes it so much worse, the fact that it jiggles everywhere. This would actually work perfectly easily if it weren't constantly fighting. Oh, I forgot I was supposed to stay in first person. But no one ever flies in first person in Space Engineers. Okay. So as you could see, no problem at all. It fit through this gap. You could definitely back in and connect up to a connector back there. It would have to be a very long hangar bay to fit this monstrosity in it, but it would work. So now, I could just coast my way to an asteroid. That's going to take me a long time, so I'm just going to do a cut and be there. Alright, we be there. So, I have found this asteroid. I don't know what's on it. This doesn't even have an ore detector. That's probably an oversight. Could probably replace that needless, timer block with one, but I'm not all that fussed. We'll just coast up here. I need to... Well, we'll get a little closer and then we'll go through, mining prep for how to make this actually do something. Okay. Using the ancient art of piston doweling. Where do the pistons lead the ship? There. Ore is dead ahead. So, we aren't actually... We could be closer, but I'll go ahead and do the prep stuff now. First step is we... Remember that we didn't reset up the group. Also that the hinge is going to be wrong. One moment. First step. We fold down the tongue so that it's out of the way. Now we can move ourselves closer in. I should have probably just had a button on the hotbar to keep the drills on. In fact, well, I'm playing hot and loose with it. Oh right, I need a drills group. So, we're right up against the rock-ish. Let's begin our drilling. Let's set our... Why is that not working? Okay, let's turn off our drilling. Oh, that's why it's not working. Because those should go... Negative 45, positive 45. Drilling on. Waggling on. And then we just very gently get closer in. Oh, this also doesn't have any stone ejectors. So it's just going to fill up with stone and not get anywhere. So your job as the pilot is to monitor the trail of leavings, and just when ore starts coming out, stop it. That's how the ship is designed. Oh, it's gonna take a long while of waggling before we can even get to use our leg. See, my original thought had been a piston that just extends straight out the front, connects to the rock, and then pulls us in. The issue with that is I'm mining the rock in front of us, so doing that doesn't really work. I almost wonder if it would have been good to design... I don't know. There's not really a good way to make a sort of thing that can grab... It would have to be an articulated arm to grab below the drill area, pull us into it, and then create... then maneuver itself so that it's level and ready to drill on the floor. I mean, to be fair, it's not going very quick, but it is mining. It's putting out rock, which means it's collecting rock. Sometimes they're quite big rocks, too. You can see it happening in front of you, which is good. I think you'd have to have a lot of patience to mine with this thing. I guess one thing we could do... If I turn off normal drilling, select that. It's not perfect because I'll have to readjust the leg, but if you just want to get in, right-click drill. Now this isn't a perfect test because right-click drilling obviously makes a bigger hole. What I want to do is make sure that it can actually get through its own mining hole. So, once I get in deep enough I can use the leg, I need to use it and then just let it do its thing, I suppose. Okay. We should now be ready for the thing. So let's stop those. Let's probably extend these out the whole way. That should have just enough clearance to get through the hole. Then, if I slowly drop us down, we're now connected. Turn on the drills. Let them start drilling. Okay. It's a moment of truth. Let's start our movement. The reason I'm outside, one, was I wanted to actually be able to see them extending. But I kind of want to be able to monitor the drills themselves to see if they're hitting. That one looked like it did. But it may have just been a brief moment. Oh, now that's interesting. They are not clearing the center quite as well as I'd hoped. Ooh. Which may mean... Yeah, our tongue is a little confused. I mean, it's sort of just pushing through like a good more would, but yeah, those are okay. Oh, nope, nope. That right there, that is what's known in the business as a doom voxel. If we try and fly through that at any sort of speed, it'll just rip us it'll just rip us a new one. So it looks like having the drills sort of one block apart like this, it's sort of working in that it's making a hole that the thing should easily be able to fit into. Seems to do the drilling part fine, but It's not doing it cleanly enough to be safe, particularly. Ignoring the nightmare that is these pistons just pushing themselves along the ground. I mean... Oh god. We're also burying ourselves back in here. So... Dang. It's always mining vehicles. I'm conflicted on this. Because it's technically working loosely. It is doing the task of mining a hole as it propels itself along on its now very flexed and unhappy looking tongue. Are these still moving? No, they've gotten scared and ceased operation, which is fair and justifiable. So it does work. God. In the very loosest sense of the term. Does it work well? No. But... I think it's a success. I mean... Is that a good thing that it is a success? Probably not. I think it's definitely debatable whether, you know, it's a success in some circles, but I guess maybe... Let's just see what happens if I stop and pull myself back. Or maybe if I just pull myself back. Let it slowly retract itself out of this hole. Maybe. Oh lord, the pistons might be stuck. They've sort of wormed themselves around the crag in the middle and... I mean, some of them are doing it. Oh boy. Oh. None of this looks healthy. Guess I could see if it's actually taking any damage. But... no, I didn't, yeah. It's all perfectly happy in its situation. Maybe not perfectly happy, but not angry enough to start complaining in an explosive fashion. I kind of figured they'd actually manage this. Because so long as things move slow in Space Engineers, everything's surprisingly resilient. For how dramatically bad things can go at relatively low speeds. When you're moving in like tiny little increments, you could just kind of shove pistons through each other and smack them all over the ground, and while it's definitely not going to be happy and, you know, it's going to look horrible, generally it doesn't end up so bad. I think that's what we've seen here, is that, yes, it should be a sin against, you know, the universe and all who inhabit it. But in reality, it's just a happy little mole creature, waggling its arms and propelling itself along the cave floor via its tongue. Look, it even still does its little shimmies. Now that it's free of the second anchor point of wrapping itself around rocks. Yeah, I mean... the second prognosis, I already declared it a success once. It's a double success? That doesn't feel right or justified, but I think I stand by it. Is it very elegant? No. Is it probably the best way to do this? God, no. But I think it's doing it all the same. I don't know if you'd want to live with this thing as your primary source of resources. I think it would get quite tiring and, frankly, kind of silly quite fast. But I think you could use it in a pinch. Like the old junker car that you have to use to get to the airport or the hospital. I think it does the job. Look, it's covered in rocks. Its own rocks. It dug those out on its own. Yeah. I think that's that. That rock is changing colors. That's odd. I think it's being cooked by the thruster. So, mole miner thingy available on the workshop for you to torment people with and create holes. Yeah. I honestly just made it more silly and thought it was going to cause problems. And it sort of did, but at the same time sort of worked. So, that's that. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to check out any of the other videos I have done. And until next week, bye-bye.